You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Hello everyone, I'm here with Rita Conestabile. She works as a hairdresser, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Did you go to school for cosmetology to do this?
Yes, I did. It was a 7-month course in the state of New York. The obligation is 1,000 hours. So I went full-time, got my license. After years of working unlicensed for a crazy French guy, I decided, make it legal and go get my license and be able to work in salons around town or anywhere in the country.
Do you ever dream of starting your own business, like own hair salon?
I thought about it a couple of times, but I have other interests in my life that it would have consumed me, and so I decided to just make it work for me. And the best way that would be is to work for somebody else, so that I can kind of pick my own hours and take my time when I need to take some time off to do other things that I like to do.
Is that something you want to keep doing for the rest of your life, or is there any other aspirations? I know you're also a singer/songwriter.
That's right.
Recently made a song too. How was that?
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, that's right. I've been singing since I was about 16. Writing since as early as I can remember. I've always written little poems and just thoughts and things like that. So the two came together when I was around 16 with my first serious relationship was a guitar player. So he kind of
Gave you that influence.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, singing and writing songs and yeah, my most recent one was actually recorded yesterday. And
what's the name of that song?
it's called When It's Over.
When It's Over.
Yeah.
You still have mixing to do on that?
Yes, mixing and then the final mastering, which will be in about a week. So this particular song features guitar, bass, keyboards, and vocals.
So everybody's getting the full mix. When it's edited, I will make sure to put a link in this podcast description so everyone here can listen to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Robbie.
Know that it was professionally made. What I want to get is your view on the recording whole process of that.
Okay.
I mean, me just recording these podcasts, when I'm recording them, I mean, we're talking, I'm trying to fill in every minute with something to say, so there's not any dead air. But then I realized when you edit it down, I had like a 45-minute conversation with my first episode. I edited it down, it was like 28 minutes. Remember, you said it's what, a 2.5-minute song?
It's 3 minutes, approximately 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
And you were gone all day
Right.
recording that.
We were in the studio for six hours. I mean, of course, there's a few bathroom breaks and, silliness that you just kind of go off on some tangents. When you're tracking multiple vocals, multiple instruments, you're always shooting for doing it in one take, but that seldom is the case.
That rarely ever happens.
Yeah, I actually got through my lead vocal in one take. However, being as particular as I am and as critical as I am about my own thing.
And you said you did it on your first take, but there were some things you had to redo on it.
Going back and listening to it, there was only one little segment that I felt I needed to redo. So that wasn't so time consuming. Generally speaking, yes, a 3-minute song easily can eat up 6 hours in the studio when you're dealing with multiple instruments and multiple vocals and different arrangements and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, very first episode I did of this was 40-something minutes, and we edited it down to 28. And even then, half the time, there were just blank pauses, and I'm trying to fill it with something. We ended up just talking about taking craps in people's houses because he's an HVAC technician. I'm like, you're in somebody's house when they're not there.
God. Make yourself at home.
You've traveled as well, too. You've also been to Italy.
Yeah, I was born in Italy.
You were born in Italy?
Yeah, I was born in Italy, yeah.
Do you still have any family that live down there?
All of my mom's side of the family's there.
And so you visit regularly?
Very regularly. In perspective, in the last 5 years, I've been there 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
In the last 5 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to, the farthest I've probably traveled is Hawaii.
Okay.
And just the change that you get from living here and then going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Even though this is still a beach town, just going to Hawaii and seeing the blues of the water and then walking down the streets and just being able to, like, it's 70 degrees all the time around.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure nobody down there wears a jacket.
Yeah.
When I went down there, I was board shorts, shirtless, walking around, going to the beach every minute. You know, my grandma would call, and I wouldn't even have my phone on me. I'd just come home, and she was like, "I made food about 8 hours ago, and it's sitting in the fridge if you want it." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, I'm probably just gonna grab something and go back to the ocean." She's like, "It's nighttime." I'm like, "And it's called night snorkeling."
Yeah.
But just interesting stuff like that. I mean, I think the one place I really want to visit is probably ancient Greece. I would love to go to Italy. Just, I mean, just see the beautiful statues. I'm really into old stonework.
Well, the city of Rome, Italy, is called the Eternal City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would just be mesmerized with the incredible architecture, the artwork itself. I mean, the masters of art.
Da Vinci, all those guys.
They're all featured. Michelangelo, and you've got the
Picasso.
Sistine Chapel. So Italy should be on your to-do list.
Italy is where the Pope is.
Yes, that's correct, and he's in the Vatican, which is in
Vatican.
the city of Rome.
I really want to just visit one of these places.
Well, yeah, southern Italy, where I'm from, is how you described, the blues and greens and see all the way through. You can see the rocks 30 feet below the surface of the water, and it's absolutely paradise in its own right. Italy. Southern Italy is just beautiful.
I mean, you think about what we live on, just like this world, and just how different, you can go from here where you got the ocean and the bay, and then not even 2 hours across, you can be going over to Pennsylvania or 3 hours and enjoying mountains, going down snow. It's a completely different thing, even though they might be artificial snow. But I mean, the mountains are right there. We just have this, everyone just lives on this world. And I mean, we communicate every day, socialize every day with different types of people, but we all live on this world together.
That's right.
And to think that we're just basically a giant floating rock going through space, spinning, orbiting around something else.
Right.
And that's just amazing. And especially like I was saying, Italy, I mean, the art there, that's just something that's always interested me in school. I found that ancient Greek mythology or how the Romans saw it as well. Just the gods are kind of the same, but the names are different. And I mean, you went there and you brought back these rocks. Oh, yeah. And the rocks are beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, they look like
sea glass and rocks and tiles. They're all wash up onto the shore from years of being buried and stuff, and they're just beautiful. Yeah, they're just a whole different breed of rock. And stuff, if you will.
I mean, it's definitely different because me living down here, I don't see anything like that. But I mean, the closest I've seen was in Hawaii. I spent, I think it was 60 something bucks on this conch that you see in all those survival movies with the tribes. They blow it and then it makes a horn noise. Spent 60 bucks or so on a real one, and I got it, and I'm like, I used it maybe once or twice when I was in Hawaii, and my grandmom's like, I will throw it out, I don't care how much you spent on it, because it was 1 o'clock in the morning our time, but it's 11 or 10 there, so I'm out on the balcony at our hotel just waking up everyone with this giant conch.
Nice.
You're also a mom too, and I wanted to get down to this, that whole experience. You had kids at a young age, because I mean, you're not older, who have older kids, at least older than me.
I was actually 28 years old.
You were 28 years old when you had your kids.
When Max is my, I have 3 kids. Max, my oldest, who is now 30.
Who's 30.
So do the math. You're going to figure out how old I am.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, well, there you go. So Max is 30, Sean is 28, and Rachel is 21. So I wasn't that young. I was 28 years old.
And Max is in the military.
He's out now, but
He's
he did 5 years, and he's a sergeant in the Marines. And he is out now and pursuing a political career. He's about to enter grad school. He's going for a master's in public administration.
And Rachel's my age. She's finishing up college too. She's going to be done after this semester.
That's correct. Rachel is going to be graduating from Warwick, same college you're going to, in December. And my middle son, Sean, who is 28 years old, graduated from Finger Lakes Community College with an associate's degree in environmental conservation. So all 3 of my kids, I'm very proud of, and proud to say, have graduated college.
Sean hunts because he brought me some deer meat.
Yeah, and some...
Love that.
Turkey jerky, or whatever it was, deer jerky.
There were these hot dogs that
were
filled with jalapeno cheese, and they were deer dogs. And it was like, there were so many of them, but I ate I was eating 2 at a time.
I hear they're good. Anyway, yeah. So he's a hunter, totally into it. Fisherman, hunter. He's an outdoors guy.
The challenges it takes, especially today in today's society, to be even a parent in general, not just a mom.
Single one too. I mean, I've been a single parent since Rachel was 10. You know, it was it's kind of tough.
You did a great job raising your kids, because just seeing them, I mean, you can tell they're good people.
Thank you.
That's definitely something to be proud of.
I really am. They're my greatest accomplishments. Anything that I've if I can take any credit for at all, but yeah, they are, I must have done something right to have kids as good as they are. They're really good people. You're right about that.
So not to just put you on the spot, but is there any crazy stories you can tell me?
Oh boy.
Any time through your life, there's got to be something.
There's plenty. How much time we have here, Robbie? This can go on for a long time. But crazy, define. What do you mean?
Something that
like crazy.
Everyone's got a story that they would tell at a party.
Okay. Well, the thing that kind of set a pace for a following 10 years was probably my dream of leaving small town upstate New York for New York City in pursuit of my musical career with my then boyfriend, guitar player boyfriend. So we did not know one single soul in New York City, but I had this obsession to live there and go there. So I masterminded our whole escape out of small town Rome, New York, with $250 in our pocket, not knowing one single person. My plan was to get on Amtrak train to Grand Central Station from Rome, New York to New York City, get a hotel room for the weekend, and on Friday just hit the streets, get the newspapers, find an apartment, put a deposit down, hold the apartment. The goal was just to get an apartment, and then come back home the following day and then move out there and then get a job. Then it would give us 30 days to find a job before next month's rent would be due. So that was the plan. And we met this lady on the train who ended up taking us in at her daughter's house. She was on the way going to Brooklyn, New York to visit her daughter. And we ended up spending the night there because she said her daughter just vacated a one-bedroom apartment in the building that she was living in to a studio apartment. So she knew that one-bedroom apartment was going to be available because her daughter literally just moved out that day. We went for it, and that's what we did. We went to this woman's daughter's house in Brooklyn, and it was suitable for us. We talked to a superintendent of the building. In those days, we're talking, this was 1980, I think. The rent was $350. We had $250 with us. And we gave the superintendent the $250 as a deposit to hold. We came back home on Sunday, and by Wednesday, middle of the week, we rented a $20 U-Haul truck with our worldly possessions, which amounted to what could fit less than on anybody's dining room or kitchen table. We didn't have much. Went there, and we brought the remaining balance of the $350, and we paid for a solid full month's rent. Now we had to find a job so that we could pay for next month's rent, and that's what we did. We got there, we unloaded our stuff, we hit the streets the very next day. I got a waitressing job, and he got a job at a record store, so we now were going to have income. And that's what we did, and we stayed there for the next 10 years in New York City.
Sounds like the struggle, basically living off Ritz crackers and...
Oh yeah. We,
college dorm
I mean,
snacks.
I'm a real good cook. I'm
Yeah.
very resourceful.
I know, I've
just
noticed.
Just from the way I've
all
been.
the pasta in the fridge.
Well, yeah, it's pasta, but it's also just having a knack for putting things together. Even though we ate cheap, we ate good.
I'm fine with
Yeah.
Wales crackers from
Yeah,
Dollar
yeah.
Tree.
Right.
But I mean, I'm a kid that was playing video games, drinking Mountain Dew.
Well,
and
in those
eating a
days, I
bag
was
of
your
Doritos.
age. I was only your age.
I know, that's why I'm saying you're so much. It's crazy to think how two people
Yeah.
basically have two completely different lives.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, just the stories they tell. A lot of kids that want to be musicians, I mean, they grow up and they're still never making it.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's this fact right here says 90.7% of all artists are undiscovered, 6.8% are developing, 1.4% are mid-sized, and 0.9% are mainstream.
Yeah.
And only 2 are considered megastars.
Yeah.
0.2%.
Yeah.
Your perseverance in all this, and the fact that you just had a song come out, it sounds so good, and like people are sharing it. It's basically blowing up. That's got to feel great. I mean, that sense of pride and just creating something that's becoming something people want to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always my dream. I remember singing in the shower, just constantly wanting to be famous.
It's like anything. If you do anything enough, you become really good at it.
I feel like I enjoy music, but I think I enjoy more of the famous aspect of music, just all the people. I think it's also a sense with me is that I also want to be remembered for something. I don't want to just leave a mark here and then, like, I don't want to go off without a mark, I should say. I actually want to leave a mark where someone either thinks of me in a good way. I mean, even if it's just somebody walking down the street, it's the main reason why I like to help people with groceries and also hold the door open. I mean, just how I was raised too. You have a minute in your day. Everyone has a minute, even no matter how much of a hurry you are. To take a second to help somebody. I mean, it doesn't take more than a minute to hold a door open for somebody unless they're really, really slow. But I mean, even then you should feel compelled to stay there even more.
That's right. That's great.
Basically, from your whole story, you can just tell everybody that it's perseverance. I mean, no matter what dream you have, whatever goal, I think every step you should take, every next step you should take. Like, I was talking to a really good friend of mine who's been going through some stuff. I mean, same thing I've been going through, but it's also when you get our age, like around 20 years old, it's really when you're trying to figure out what to do with your life. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I'll wait till I'm an adult, to worry about that. And yeah, I'm only 20 years old and technically a year away from being, or a couple months being from 21 being the actual adult age people think of. I was at Food Line the other day and some kid said, paper or plastic, sir? And he said that to me and I was like, sir, whoa. Like, I haven't been called that. He might have been just being respectful. He was younger than me, but it's like, I remember being the young person in every single room. I remember that. Everyone looking at me, oh, you're just a baby, you're just a baby. And it's like now I'm hitting adulthood. And before I was just kind of on autopilot where I was like, what do I want to do? I'm just kind of living through life. I'm like, I'll wait future. That's future Robbie's problem. When he's an adult, I'll have to worry about bills and all this stuff. And then you start paying rent and you start putting gas in your own car, you're paying car insurance, you're doing all this stuff, and it's like, it changes. And especially with kids our age, like 20 years old, I don't know how many Snapchats I see of my friends drinking, doing some type of drug or something. And it's like, you think about it, it's like, during wintertime, this town is dead. There's nothing here to do. Summertime is when everything is just alive and moving well. But in wintertime, they have nothing to do. And you realize that's why they're doing all that stuff. It's because they're giving themselves something to do. They feel as if work, party is how you're going to get through life. And I mean, I was never a big party person just because I just never got into that aspect through my life. Like things that have happened in my life, I kind of steered away from just drugs and alcohol. I mean, obviously experience with pot at a young age, but I mean, I think everybody was a little bit of a stoner in high school, or at least picked it up at one point. But I mean, I never got into that whole thing, aspirations of trying to pursue my own goals. And like I was saying before, I think everybody should try and persevere their own thing. Taking one step forward should be towards your goal, which is the same thing I told my friend who's been dealing with some depression. I deal with that a little bit too when it comes down to, you know, you're feeling like you're not really going to be anything in life. And I feel like anybody that's out there that's feeling like that should understand that we all go through the mud. We all get stuck in there, you know.
Absolutely.
And
at all stages of life.
If you have a goal or a dream you want to do, I always thought like, hey, I just wanted to be famous. That's my dream. Now, whether that's doing music, which I originally tried when I was in a band with my brother, really it was just me being told how to play. It wasn't me actually taking the time to learn the instrument, me actually taking the time to get to know the notes. I was like, he tells me to play this sound comes out. And that's how I'll do it. And it's like, it was fun and it was interesting. I mean, being in a band with your brother, I mean, that's like every little brother's dream, I think, is like, you know, you look up to your older brother for sure. And just being in a band with him was a fun experience, but it was like, more like when I was on stage, you know, I was super nervous, especially back when I was in this band. But now that I do it, like I'm in speech class right now, and just getting up on stage, I'm just gonna do it. Like, you know, I improv it. Like I don't think too much about it. I don't get the anxiety I used to get. And I realize I'm almost 21 years old. Like, if I want to get out of this class, I got my keys to my car. I'm just gonna walk out. Like, I don't need to raise my hand to go to the bathroom anymore. You know, we're not in kindergarten. Even the teacher's like, yeah, just go. Like, you don't need to ask me. And just stuff like that, when you realize you're getting older, it's like there's good things to becoming an adult, and there's also its drags. But I think the best thing you should do is look for like best light out of the good stuff. You can't just focus down on the down stuff. But I mean,
absolutely.
I say this now, and I guarantee you in like a day or so I'll be feeling like, oh, the world is crap. Because you have those days. There are going to be, you know, every day is not going to be the perfect day.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
My main thing out of this whole rant here is just, if you have something that you want to pursue, every step you take should be in pursuit of that goal. Whether it's, you know, if you feel like you're in an inadequate job and you just can't handle it anymore, take that step out the door. You know, plan. I'm not saying like don't leave yourself without any plans. Like go ahead and quit your job right now. If you're miserable, you got to take a step to change that. Or if you can do what I'm basically doing and just kind of hold it out till you get what you want to really do. My main thing is just to get school out of the way. I mean, when I left high school, that was a scrape by the skin of my teeth, basically. Like, that was never a thought. I would look like I was going to be a dropout for sure. Just the fact that how many times I'd be like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, you know, I'm staying home sick. Just all those times I did that, and just not showing up at all, getting report cards to the point where we moved all the time, so my address, they never had my address, so they'd have to give me my report card to go home. I just leave it in my backpack, or I wouldn't go to school to get it. And it's like, they would be like, we need your parents' phone number. I just ended up, when I was like 15, giving them my phone number. So when they called, I was like, not answering that. Robbie's not at school today. Just things like that. I mean, now that I go to college and I'm actually being able to pursue really they're giving me classes obviously that I have to take, but knowing that it's going to be in pursuit of an actual career maybe down the road that I might get interested in. I'm trying to do right now. I'm taking every step possible to put my time and effort into this podcast thing.
The old adage of you reap what you sow. So you're putting in a lot of effort into this. You'll get a lot out of it. And if anything, it'll be a learning experience for you. You know, you're going to be able to grow from this initial stance, and things will grow, and you'll learn a lot, and that's the key. You know, like you said before, perseverance and taking a few risks and experimenting in different areas of your comfort zone, sometimes stretching out a little bit out of that. You never know, you know, and anything that's really worth obtaining usually is a little bit of out of reach. It's a struggle. It's not just going to get handed to you. So you have to start somewhere, and this is a great start. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, because it's definitely something I want to get interested in. I mean, just the variety of people I've met through my life so far, and it's still meeting every single day. And it's like, everyone's got this interesting story, and I hope to get these people on this podcast to share. I mean, even if it's obviously this is just an amateur setup, we're not in a professional studio, but hopefully I would like to have my own professional setup thing where I can have a job as well, but I can also do this, and I can also record and get these people to come over and share this advice that either has affected me in a good or bad way. And I've met, but it seems the nicest people have been through the worst stuff. And that's definitely a popular saying, but it's just crazy to hear that how everyone has been shaped and changed. And I would like to get that out there, because I know there's definitely people struggling out there, just thinking the world is crap, like I did at one point. And hearing somebody talk to you and give you something to listen to, even if it's for 30 minutes or if it's an hour, just something like that is it's just amazing. It's an amazing thought, and just something I really want to pursue. And hopefully it works out. But I'm really proud of you. I just wanted to say of really just doing my podcast, and also the fact that
my
you
pleasure, Robbie.
Persevere.
You're my house son. Well, let's just make that perfectly clear right now.
For everyone that's out there, we live together.
Yeah, we're roommates. We have shared spaces here in this beautiful home that we share with each other, and
there's some good stories about it, definitely. But it's
and I refer to Robbie as my house son, and he's a great guy. So, and I'm really proud of you having this up and running, and I know it's only going to go great from here, you know. And
I hope your music thing takes off.
Thank you.
This is the thing. I mean, you obviously have done gigs and stuff like that, but just the fact that you have a song now, like, that's something that's imprinted now. Like, that's in history. That's not going to be, that can't be erased. It's somewhere out there now. It's been recorded. It's on there. It's the same thing when you put something up on
it's a tangible,
the internet.
It's something from nothing, and that's the beauty
of creativity.
Of creativity. It begins solely as a thought, and the thought becomes reality, and there's no greater satisfaction when somebody is a creative person, to be able to take it from inside your head to something you can hear, taste, touch, smell, see, you know.
Not even the beauty of just creativity in general, but taking the actions to pursue that. And especially when you know these music statistics where people are telling you you're not going to make it. You were like, I don't care what you say. And that's when you got to think, what you got to take really from this podcast, which really just turned into an inspirational, long inspirational poster.
Good. Yeah, that's right. You can't be deterred by statistics, because you are an individual. And with that, everything's possible.
Very true. And it's just like what they say, everyone's a little snowflake or something.
That's
every
right.
single one's not the same.
We can never be duplicated, not in a million years. Our exact DNA cannot be duplicated.
Like, you love to cook. I don't like to cook that much. I prefer, I'm not saying microwavable stuff, but stuff that's very convenient to eat.
Sure. Well,
that won't give you indigestion.
Right.
Like maybe some Taco Bell.
Right.
We've had some stories about Taco Bell.
Oh, good old Taco Bell. Where would we be without it?
To end on a really good motivational note, just perseverance in general.
That's right. That's key. Not giving up.
And I mean,
you don't give up.
Everybody's dreams are going to be different, obviously. There's going to be those people, like at one point I was an introvert where I don't really like to do anything. I don't want to go out and, do this, and then next thing I know, bam, here I am. I'm like, I want to start a podcast. Just after listening to constant podcasts while either I'm at the gym working
communication, public communication is in your blood with both sides of your parental units.
Yeah, both my parents are in radio.
So that is a natural progression for you to lean toward and explore, even though it's in your own right. You're not relying on either of them to get you.
It's just something I felt. I don't know, because they've been into music too.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have no wants to. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe playing an instrument like with a family member just for fun.
Sure.
But it's not something I want to go out and do. Yeah. I'd rather do something with comedy. Like my Netflix is constantly just nothing but comedy specials, listening to all these comedians that are going for the jokes. And just seeing that and just making people laugh has always been my thing. I've always been a class clown.
Yeah.
I mean, I had really bad ADHD, so when I was in class, if I wasn't tapping my foot, I'd be cracking some stupid jokes where there was good parts and bad parts about it. You know, I would get in trouble like on Fridays when you get 20 minutes of recess when you're in 8th grade for one day a week, and it's coming down from having recess every day. They're trying to break that out of you. And I'm thinking about something that's going to be funny for the whole class to say if I just said it right now when the teacher says something. And I'm like, I know it's going to get recess taken away from me, but is it worth it? And I would always go for it, always worth it. Next thing I know, Robbie, guess who's staying inside for recess? I'm like, I know, it's me. I'm going to sit in the corner like I usually do. But I don't know. That's just something hopefully I'll end up pursuing with podcasting, maybe stand up on stage or something. Just go out there and do it.
Sounds great.
And that's the best advice I can give to anybody out there looking to pursue their goals is just go out and do it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank. Stay tuned for more episodes.